We believe where you live shouldn't decide your destiny, and that any place can be a place of learning. So much of modern life has a handy home delivery option. Why not your education? Maybe you'll start your degree in the same space you share with your whānau, or from that corner of the spare room that catches the most sun. Start your new what at the place where can be anywhere, online or on campus. Massey, New Zealand's leading online university. Apply now for July start.
Okay, let's just start today. So, kia ora, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. I'm Yonela, Counseling and Destination Manager for New Zealand at ACC Global Indonesia. Thank you for each one of you here joining us today. Let's just start with a bit introduction about ACC Global. So we've been operating since 2008, and we are a professional body that helps students connect to the right institution in New Zealand. With our experience, your dreams of studying abroad in New Zealand will be simpler, smoother, and also easier process. So today is the third day we do this ENZ 360 Live. So in collaboration with Education New Zealand, we are proudly hosting this live session to you. You'll be able to engage with any of the 8 universities on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You just need to search ACC Global, either Indonesia, Malaysia, or Singapore, and you can view them live from 8 to 11. So tomorrow is the last day at 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. Indonesian time. But if you watch from from Malaysia and Singapore, that would be 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. So please help to like and share this live. If you have any questions or just want to say hi to us, just drop them the message in the comments box down below. And once again, a very welcome for each one of you here joining us today. We are pleased to have Brian here, International Recruitment Coordinator from Massey University, New Zealand. Before we have a fun and full of information session today, we will have a short video for you to watch. So, video, please.
Stop. Listen. Papa Tuanuku, the Earth Mother, is breathing. Tamaki Makaurau, Auckland, still. Our maunga, our mountains, standing strong. Our moana, our ocean now louder than ever. Our tui and our kiriru now need not fight with the daily hum of our busy lifestyles. Our people's waiata, normally loud and joyful, now soft and distant, waiting for the right time to rise again. Our land renewing, replenishing, ready for your return. And our kai, our food, preparing to nourish. Enjoy time with your whānau, your families, your loved ones, and soon we'll unite again. Noho tawhiti tū kotahi. Sit at a distance, stand as one. We, our land, our waters, our people, we aren't going anywhere. Dream, plan, and when the time is right, we welcome you. But for now, listen. Papa Tuanuku is breathing.
Wow, it's a very nice video to start. So welcome, Brian, to this session.
Hey, Yanela, how's it going?
Great. Hope everything is well as also down there. So let's just start. I think over to you. Do you want to just do a brief introduction about University of Massey?
Yeah, sure. So I'll just start with a brief, very quick greeting to everyone here, as you did. So kia ora, everyone, as we say in New Zealand. And we just want to thank you for tuning in and your time today. I'm going to fly through the presentation about Massey so that we can answer more specific questions. Okay, so and I'm just really going to talk about what Massey is really good at and what we're recognized for. So if I could just share my screen and
yes, please.
Yanela, you let me know. Sorry, you
go. Not yet. So yeah, please just throw us questions if you have any, so we'll be able to just assist your questions. Yeah. Okay, cool. Over to you.
Right, so I've distilled everything into one page here. For the readers in the audience, you can go ahead and have a read of that. And for the listeners, I'm going to try and fly through this. So Massey University is one of 8 New Zealand universities. We're all the 8 universities in New Zealand are government owned and government funded, very, very high quality. And all of the universities here are in the top 500 in the world, which is pretty much the top 2% of universities in the world. So very, very high quality of education that we're very proud of. Massey University has been around for almost 100 years. We're named after one of the great prime ministers of New Zealand. And in the long story short, basically Massey's story is New Zealand's story. So when we first started and up until now, we always follow what New Zealand is good at, what New Zealand is giving to the world. And we try to make New Zealand become even better at that. And that's our contribution, I suppose, to what we give to the world. So New Zealand, we first started as an agricultural university at the moment. And for so long, we are the top agricultural university in New Zealand. And we're in the top 29 in the world. And then that agriculture includes animal sciences, of course, and vet sciences, which you may have heard we're very, very good at as well. You can check the rankings there on the list. And then New Zealand is also a very entrepreneurial country. It's a small country, but very entrepreneurial. The ratio of employees and business owners is quite high. And so we're very interested in business as well. So we started the first business school in New Zealand. Our business school is in the top 2 or 3% of business schools in the world in terms of international recognition. We've got the aecc. Very, very strong in finance, management, marketing. We even have real estate and some construction management, aviation management in the business school. So yeah, very, very strong business school, world class. As you might have picked up, New Zealand is also quite a creative country, a very artsy and very creative country. You might know that lots of people love making movies in New Zealand. In fact, if we say New Zealand, that's one of the things that probably come to your mind, right? Like the movies. So Lord of the Rings, King Kong, The Hobbit, all that stuff. And in fact, for the movie junkies in the room, fun fact here, we first started the first design school in New Zealand as well. And one of our strengths, in addition to product design and fine arts and all that stuff, one of our strengths is really digital design. So one of our alumni is actually, you can search him up, Sir Richard Taylor. He is the founder and still the current director of a studio called Weta, W-E-T-A. So there's Weta Workshop or Weta Digital, you can Google it. So they basically made all the best CGI movies for very, very long. So they made Lord of the Rings. They made Avatar, which was previously the biggest movie in the world. And they made Avengers Endgame, which beat Avatar recently. And so many more in between and games in between and all that stuff. So a lot of people think that's all done in Hollywood, but actually a lot of it's done in New Zealand. So that just kind of shows the caliber of what we produce out here. We have a program with Weta still. And obviously a lot of our graduates some of our graduates go on to work with that. In fact, fun fact, I'm not making this up. I was just at an event today and Sir Richard Taylor was there. It was a Weta event. So yeah, coincidence. But anyway, so we started the first design school. We're very, very into education as well in College of Humanities and Social Sciences. New Zealand has always kind of been popular. Well, more recently, more popular in the news about the way we handle humanities issues and political issues and stuff like that. So New Zealand is very concerned about human rights and what's good for the world and what's good for the community. So a lot of the thinking behind that, we try and we try and grow that kind of thinking at a university level as well. I suppose lastly, we do have a lot of things in health and sports. There was one Olympics where the Team New Zealand 150 people, and about 98 or about 90 something people from that New Zealand Olympic team were from Massey, either students, staff, or graduates. So pretty strong in that too. But there's a whole list there on the page that I'm showing right now. Hopefully you've already screenshotted that, because I'm going to stop sharing now so we can get to question and answer. But was that kind of like what you were looking for,
Yep. I thought there's actually a lot of program that you're actually the only university in New Zealand has it. So you have only 1 year MBA, and also you're only the only university in New Zealand having aviation program. Is that right? Do you want to talk about it?
Right. So aviation. So we do aviation training to be a pilot, or courses to prepare you to go into management in the aviation industry. So as you know, in the aviation industry, just a lot of business, airports, airlines, and all the business and all the money that's moving. It's not just the pilots, right? So we train people to get into those things as well. We don't do aeronautical engineering, unfortunately. But between those two things that we do, you do get the difference between Massey and a flight school is that if you get your licenses as a pilot at Massey, you get all three. So your private license, which means you can fly yourself, commercial pilot license, which means you can fly commercially like goods and stuff. And then the last license is air transport pilot license, which means you can fly people. So you can get those three licenses and you get a bachelor degree. So usually if you go pilot training, you just get the licenses, but you don't have an academic bachelor degree. And of course, the knowledge that comes with that. So we find that people get promoted quite a bit or faster, so to speak, because they have an understanding of how the industry works.
Then how about your MBA? I think for our marketing, but for our friends here in Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, we're into business as well, because you're the only university in New Zealand that offer 1 year only, so they can just straight get back to work. So how is it? Do you have the entry requirement or anything to say about it?
Right, sure. Actually, I'm going to take this chance to just quickly do this again, because we actually have a slide on that. So again, for the readers in here. So everyone knows what an MBA is, even though we also have a Master of Business Studies and Master of Management. An MBA is an MBA. It's much more hands-on, I suppose, and there's a lot more opportunity to connect with leaders in the companies and stuff like that. If networking is one of your reasons to take an MBA. There's scholarships available for this as well. So you can, on the lower left side of this slide, you can see there's $2,000 Excellent Scholarships Awards for anyone who has an undergraduate degree with A- or higher, or around that kind of result. And then there's another $2,000 that you can stack over that if you have 5 or more years of work experience, even though you don't need work experience to take on the MBA. Then there's another $2,000 if you have a master's degree already.
Okay,
So,
that will be the scholarship offered for this program. Okay. Talk about these days, because we do have current pandemic, and how about the learning there? Is it actually switched to online learning, or how it goes?
Yeah, so we do both, obviously, because there are still people who are here in New Zealand and internationals who are still here. There's about 20,000 in Auckland alone that have remained. So we still do both. We're lucky enough here to open the campuses. But we also do online for almost everything in the catalog for the beginning stages, right? So we don't teach everything in the catalog fully online, but we can start almost everything in that catalog online. If it's offered to an international student, we can start it online. And the reason for that is because we've been teaching online for maybe about almost 60 years now as Massey. So we're the prime provider of distance education here in New Zealand. And so when obviously the pandemic hit, we didn't really have to rebuild or anything. We had the platforms, we had decades of experience, we had experienced teachers. teachers who know how to teach online and who love to teach online, which is very different, of course. A lot of you who are studying, if you're watching now and you're studying online, you know it's very different to the actual class. So it's actually a little slightly different training as well that you need from teachers to be able to teach you well, so you can get the most value for your money. And there's structures obviously that come with that, and workshops and stuff like that. So we really want to maximize the community feel that you get from a university if you study online.
Oh yeah, I think that would be. I think we do have video about this to explain a bit more about study online and distance learning.
Cool. Let's play it.
Let's just watch, and also the testimony. I think there's a students that really happy with this arrangement.
Kia ora. Welcome to your guide to studying online with Massey. Studying online is a great way to get the same qualification as if you were studying on campus, while enjoying the freedom of studying where it suits you. So, set up a study space, make sure you have good internet access, and log in to our online learning platform, Stream. Watch online presentations, read your lessons, submit your assessments, even join group discussions or one-on-one conversations with your teachers and classmates. While you can study most online programs on Stream alone, some qualifications do have valuable in-person experiences, such as workshops, labs, and work placements. As an online student, help is close at hand, with 24/7 access to our digital library collection and other resources for developing your study techniques and academic skills. Our staff will support you throughout your student journey and help you to find what you need to succeed. And you won't be alone. Thousands of students study online with us every year, making the most of their university experience and meeting others through a wide range of student associations and societies. Nau mai, hono mai, ki te manga. Study online with Massey, New Zealand's leading university for distance learning.
Oh, there you go. It's cool that you found that video.
I think we have another video to watch just right after this.
We have another one. There you go.
Yeah.
My name's Katrina Tarowski. I'm studying a Bachelor of Business, majoring in property at Massey University. I come from Timaru. Usually when people leave home, they go to Christchurch or Dunedin, but I chose Sydney.
I'm Hayley Wise. We were living in Japan for 5 years and now we're back on the Gold Coast. I'm studying a Bachelor of Business Studies, majoring in marketing and minoring in Japanese. In Japan, I wanted to continue my studies. I found Massey University and its online courses and found that was a great option for me. I've been working as an administration officer at a preschool and I found a lot of the content from my courses really helped me in the workplace.
I work for a family-owned real estate agency. They're really supportive of me studying property. Massey was an easy choice for me. As a Kiwi living overseas, I could take advantage of all of the financial assistance available through StudyLink. That made it easy for me to decide to study at Massey.
I found studying online great for my lifestyle because I was able to continue working and raise my son and study all at the same time. In 5 years, I'd love to see myself using the experiences I gained in Japan and my degree in pursuing a career in business and marketing.
In 5 years' time, I look forward to graduating. My 2 little ones will be in school and I'm already planning to do postgrad study to deepen my knowledge in the industry that I'll be joining.
To any other Kiwis who are living overseas and considering studying, just do it. Don't put your studies on hold just because you're overseas.
Okay, Brian, we got questions coming in. We probably just need to answer some. Okay, as we know, most airline companies are experiencing huge issues. If I go for aviation, how are my job prospects like in this case?
Right. So if you're a pilot, it might be a little bit more interesting, right? But if you're in aviation management, depending on what you do, what your expertise, it might be more needed, right? Because obviously they're trying to solve problems, they're trying to be more creative. There's all kinds of projects depending on the severity of how things are going on in the country. So aviation management, there would be more of a need of these skills and expertise. But obviously, if you're a pilot and there's less flights, then there's really no way around that. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So hopefully the answer Valerie's questions. I think we have another one. Yeah, for online class as offered now, what type of academic assistance is available?
So there's, in terms of assistance, purely assistance, we have a Center for Teaching and Learning. So this is where, in addition to any tutorials or workshops that you might have in your program, you can actually book in a session with a tutor one-on-one. So as you know, or some of you might know, usually the structure for universities, okay, you go to this big lecture, and then you have tutorials where you can break down the material, kind of like a workshop with other people. But it's also quite powerful to sometimes do it with a trained tutor, but on a one-on-one basis, because then you can be really specific and they can really help you give you some actual concrete steps based on what you're currently working on. Basically, we want you to get A's, we want you to succeed. Obviously, we're not gonna do your assignments for you, but we want to unblock everything that's in your ways to achieving a very, very good grade, which obviously then leads to better employment opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. I think we got another one. Yeah. Do you offer tutoring services if I need them? Any additional costs?
Yeah. So what I just mentioned is, as far as I know, a little bit. Not everyone has it to that level, like one-on-one. So I suppose you could treat that as a tutoring service. And the best part is there's no additional cost for that.
Okay, you mentioned earlier about the employment rate. How about your graduates' employment rate once they graduate from Massey University? Do you have the data or
Yeah.
the
So
report?
obviously, giving stats for this category could be pretty messy if you're taking a whole university employment rate. I suppose what people are more interested in is what's the employment rate of the subject that they want to study, right? There's lots of factors in getting employed. Obviously, if you're going to take something like business, 70% of people take business. Of the thousands of people go to university, 70% of people will take business. Not everyone's going to get an awesome ass job, but if you're good, of course you raise your chances.
Yep.
We do our part in terms of being a good, globally recognized, innovative business school, and so we maximize the thing that we can offer you. So if we are on the paper that you're submitting to your application, people will know this is a really good business school, but the rest is up to you, right? In saying that, there are some programs that we are very proud of saying that we are pretty much 100% employment now, and that's in food technology, in the food industry, and in construction. So that's your quantity surveying, construction law, construction technology, construction management. So those are booming industries. Again, so if you pick a booming industry, then it's likely you're going to get a job in that industry, right?
So I assume that the graduates, let's say international student, they will get the post-study work visa to work, right? After graduate.
If you study online?
No, I mean, because you have the high employment rate for those courses. So I believe the international student will have the same opportunity, right?
Right. So everyone who's listening, obviously you want to do your research about what the post-study work visa looks like right now, or AECC can update you on that if you're really interested. Talk to them. But any course you graduate from at Massey, if it obviously is in that level that the post-study work visa requires, you will get that post-study work visa. It doesn't necessarily, you don't even need a job to get that visa. You just need to get the requirements of that visa.
Okay, I think I got another questions related to what we talked about. What is the job placement rate? I think we cover it, but the salary range post-graduation for business major. Do you have the number or figure?
Again, even if I had that number, it might be a little bit useful because there's so many different jobs in the business industry, right? But I'll give you something better. They can actually. I'm just digging
Google.
up the website here. That'll tell you that has those stats at a much more useful level.
So can they search not only for business major, I guess, for other field as well?
Correct. So careers.gov.nz. Can I type in the comments there?
Yeah, the comments, yeah.
Or maybe you could make it flash on the screen.
Yeah, you can share your screen if you like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's useful, isn't it? Okay, so you guys, let's. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. Right. So here you go. Careers.gov.nz. So this is just an example. Building and construction manager. It tells you, okay, that's the pay. Pretty good pay over there. Job opportunities, goods, length of training, and it shows you what kind of job it is. If you want to check if that's aligned with your expectations of what that career looks like. We got some testimonials, and then you've got kind of like the pathways, different pathways to get to that position. So tons and tons and tons of New Zealand jobs are there with the data that you're probably looking for when you're considering coming to New Zealand and getting a job. So, and it's a very good question to ask actually, because there are some jobs here that you might not expect pay really quite well, like a farm manager can pay quite a lot, like 60 to 120 New Zealand dollars per year, 120K.
Okay.
So that's a lot. There's a farm manager over in Southeast Asia. I'm from Philippines originally, so I think I can speak a little bit on the topic. In Southeast Asia, the farm manager, you don't necessarily get that kind of pay. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like, relate to the your graduates. I think you have a notable alumni around the world. You mentioned like a few of them, especially from Indonesia, Malaysia, or Singapore.
In Southeast Asia, so I think the Minister of Defense, in Indonesia, Tito Karnavian.
Oh, it's in Home Affairs.
Of Home Affairs, yeah. So he's a Massey grad. We have pretty notable alumni from that I can remember from Singapore. I don't know if any of you have traveled to Singapore and have been to Gardens by the Bays. They always use it. They always use
everyone, I think.
Yeah, it's a tourist spot, right? So they always use their tourism videos. But the CEO of that of Gardens by the Bays is also a Massey grad. I saw a pretty impressive list of alumni in Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Singapore. I don't have it in front of me right now, but yeah, there are a lot in all kinds of companies and all kinds of levels.
That's nice to hear. So I got another topic to talk about as well, about your accommodation, because I think you have one of the best accommodation for students. Yeah,
you've done your research. So when people are allowed to come, obviously, we welcome you to stay on campus. Massey has the highest rated student accommodation in the country. What makes a student accommodation get a full rating, which is, we're the only one in the 5-star category, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're the only one. So what goes into that rating is obviously the facilities, the safety, the convenience, innovative facilities, cleanliness, but also a lot of the pastoral care that's available in there. So you're not just there. We give you a nice bed to stay at. We actually have support services over and above what the university gives you. If you live in that village, you have support services that's available to you as well. They just really take care of you. If you forget to schedule fun stuff for yourself, we will do that for you. get you out of the boring zone, and sustainability, I think, is a big one for accommodation as well. So in New Zealand. It's a very New Zealand kind of thing. Like everything has to be sustainable, because we love the earth.
Okay, I guess we got more questions. Let's see what's the questions. Is there any campus jobs available for freshmen?
Yeah. So I mean, when they become available, it wouldn't be the first place I would look for a job though, because all our campuses are, well, Auckland and Wellington are pretty much in the city center. Well, sorry, Wellington is in the city center. Auckland is in city center of a place called Albany, which is across the road. There's like a mall and all kinds of restaurants and buildings, all that stuff. There's probably a lot more jobs there than inside the campus. And in Palmerston North, it's a pretty small city, so again, it would be pretty easy to have a job outside the campus. Sure, we have a careers department that's very, very supportive. Helps you kind of get to know the New Zealand job scene. Helps prepare you to how to put your best foot forward to get jobs. So yeah, there's all kinds of the support. You just need to ask for it. It's,
based on my last research, I think the part-time jobs they pay $18 to $19 per hour in New Zealand, right? So
right.
Do you have the special team, as in like dedicated for students to beautify the CV, or just more information about the job opening?
Yes. So that's in the careers department. So helping you out with the CV, basically teaching you what to expect in interviews and all that. We certainly have that kind of support.
Is it also accessible after graduation? Let's say just a fresh grad and then looking for a job.
Well, because usually we want you to access these services while you're studying here. It just makes much more sense. It helps your study to work, if you can try and work in your industry that you're studying in. Also, you just don't want to leave things so late. So usually that happens before they graduate, but I don't see any reason why they wouldn't support you after you graduate.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you come back after 5 years, and like that might be a different story.
I think as long as the students is kind of proactively, finding a help, assistant, there's always assistance or help for them, right?
Yeah. And the good news is, it's pretty simple. Maybe you come back a few sessions and get some coaching. You start to get the picture of how to get jobs here and how to put your best foot forward, and you just kind of practice.
Right. Next question. Okay. Caring for a nephew. He's a commercial pilot now for one of the airlines in Indonesia. He graduated with a diploma too from a flying academy in Indonesia. If he wants to do Bachelor of Aviation in Massey, do you have any case from Indonesian students transferring? So it's more to transfer from diploma to bachelor. And how long more does student have to do it for either air transport pilot, and how many flying hours needed? Any case like this before?
We certainly have a lot of people asking. We usually don't do cross credits if it's a pilot program, because our pilot program is a little bit different. So we're scenario based and very, 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 very practical. Most pilot programs, the way they teach is kind of like, okay, today we're gonna learn this, like taking off and landing, blah blah blah. So we're scenario based. We're saying, okay, we're almost creating a game situation, and like this is the level, this is the situation, blah blah blah. And in that scenario, you learn to do all these things. So you obviously learn to land and take off, all that stuff. So it's quite a different approach. We don't usually do credit transfers for the pilot or for the flying component. But if that diploma has academic components, like aviation management, then we can, look at having some of those credits transferred.
So case by case, I think.
Yeah. So if they haven't, so most people, like I said before, most people who have finished or even are already pilots, they haven't really taken many or any academic qualifications, but they're very good pilots, of course, but they need to be. And so most of the time, they really have to do the whole thing. So yeah, either a diploma or, if you want to do the whole thing, you can do a Bachelor of Aviation Management.
Yeah. Okay.
Or you can do paper as well, which you can do from anywhere in the world.
Okay, next one. For Master Business Analytics, duration is 1.5 years full-time. So that means I'm not eligible to post-study work visa, or it can be 2 years.
So I believe post-study work visa is 30 weeks. 30 weeks. And so if you are here for 30 weeks, then you would be eligible. I'm speaking on the current kind of policy.
30 weeks is about 8 months plus. Is it correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So at the moment, that doesn't include the distance week at the moment. So as you know, Australia, I think, have said that the distance weeks are included, but New Zealand will sometimes do what Australia does. But let's just see, what happens in the next kind of few months.
So at least as long as it's 30 weeks onshore in New Zealand, that you actually can consider this option for visa, post-study work visa.
Yeah, so you need to keep your eyes open on that policy that's going to change. But at the moment, it's always, things can always change in this environment.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Hi, I'm a designer. Does Massey have programs related to the design or creative arts?
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if you might have missed our little spiel on that. So, we have the first design or creative arts school in New Zealand. We're in the top one. We're first in New Zealand. We're top ranked in New Zealand, and then we're top one or two in Asia Pacific. Our College of Creative Arts, depending on the year that you check. But yeah, I mean, what are you? I suppose the question is, what are you interested in? Do we have this person in the chat? So we do fashion design, industrial design, which is kind of like I suppose you could kind of say product design is in there as well. We do integrated design, which is kind of taking different industry designs and putting it together. We have photography, we have spatial design, we have. Are we aware what is spatial design? So this is the design of the space. I'm not talking about outer space. I'm just talking about space in general. So it's kind of like architecture times interior design. You kind of think that. So designing a space. So it's not architecture, it's not interior design. It's kind of like the mix of the two. We have textile design. We have visual communication design. This is all the kind of CGI and kind of gaming design and stuff like that. We have commercial music. We have creative technologies, film and television, game development, music.
Plenty to choose.
A lot. Yeah. So.
Okay. While we're waiting for another questions, perhaps coming up, do you have any scholarship that is offered for 2021, other than the one that you mentioned earlier today?
Other than the MBA one? Yeah, so we have a similar scholarship. So the MBA is a total of 6,000, depending on which conditions you use. We have another one for international students in general, which is about 5,000 per year. So if you're taking a 3-year course, that's 15,000. If you're taking a 2-year course, it's 10,000. And that works out to be more or less, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 15% of the fee.
Great. Okay, I think we got one last question. Yeah. Oh, for the accommodation, is it guaranteed for first-year students, or we must apply before a specific deadline?
In the past, we haven't had to have a super long waiting list, fortunately, but it is starting to happen now. So I guess that we will try to get you something as much as we can, and we do prioritize out-of-town accommodation applications. But to ensure that you get something, we're going to apply as soon as possible. I mean, you could always cancel it later.
Okay, I think we've kind of towards the end. Brian, do you have any last statement, closing statement for all our listener here?
Not really. I'm not super aware of who's watching, so I can't be too specific. But again, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out into having a look what Massey is, who we are. If you are interested, I definitely want to encourage you to talk to AECC and their team. If you're interested more about New Zealand or about Massey, because they are licensed Massey agents. So basically, what we can tell you, they can tell you, and you'll be in good hands with them. So yeah, and they can even help arrange meetings with myself or some of the other Massey staff. So really take advantage of that. And yeah, but apart from that, just want to thank everyone. Terima kasih.
All right. So once again, thanks, Brian, for all the information shared today about Massey University, and thank you also for everyone who is here watching us live. If you have further questions regarding study in Massey University or in New Zealand, just feel free to contact us, ACC Global, via our social media, or just visit our website. I think that's the end of our live session today. Tomorrow will be the last day of ENZ 360 Live, and we will be having Lincoln University and University of Auckland. It will begin at 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. in Indonesia, and if you watch in Malaysia or Singapore, that will be 12 p.m. and 1:30 p.m. So remember to join our live session. So tell your friends if they're interested to study in New Zealand, and don't forget to follow our social media as well, ACC Global Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. So I think that's all for today. Thanks everyone. See you next time. Stay safe.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.